This is why we can't have nice things.
I've been growing these tomato seedlings since March, and I've been babying them so much because the last 2 years I've made some fatal mistakes with my tomato starts. I used to have this down pat before I had this big garden and everything else to take care of. But since we've moved here, there's been 1 year I simply forgot to water them, and then there's been another year I used bad potting soil, and both of those resulted in me having to purchase starts from our local nursery. But this year feels different. I've felt more hopeful than ever that they'll make it to the garden. The kitchen smells like coffee and that sweet spring North Carolina air. This is the kind of morning that feels soft around the edges. On Sundays, I like to make a written list of to-dos. I know I won't get to everything, but that's perfectly okay. These little guys started under artificial lights in the basement. Tiny, a bit cramped, and a bit uncertain. Now they're thriving out here, in the warmth and the light. They made it to their graduation day. And that means I made it too. It's amazing what happens when you keep showing up, even quietly, even when it's messy and imperfect. Taylor's been clearing new portions of the orchard this week, making space for new fruit trees. We've both been hard at work, just in different areas of the property. It feels so good to show each other what we've each accomplished at the end of the day. It's always a fun surprise. The garden asks one thing of us, the orchard asks another, and we try to listen even if we're still learning what they need. It's quite hot today, almost too hot. I decided to pause and go inside for a while and work on some indoor tasks while the sun is still high. I'm focusing on dishes, some laundry, and getting something in the oven. This little Sunday ritual really grounds me, just like planting the seedlings and just like weeding.
It's finally time to break the garden quilt back out. I'm so excited to lay out there again and relax and enjoy the garden.
These things remind me we're building something here. Our life, our rhythm.
Buggy likes to collect all the socks while we fold laundry, and she plays with them. So I'm in the phase of trying to work through last year's canned goods right now and like being really diligent about using them up. And whenever I can fruit, like cherries for example, you can see all of the water that's in there. I do can them in like a very light syrup, so it's basically sugar water. Some of them are thicker than not, but a lot of the times there's leftover syrup that I can separately, like this cherry syrup, and I need to use these up because it is almost time to start working on revamping that for this next year. I have been making so much lemonade with those syrups. I've been doing just a jar, like a jelly jar of the syrup in one of these half-gallon jars, and then either fresh squeezed lemon juice if I have lemons, or I just use bottled lemon juice. That's fine too. They both taste delicious. I made this a couple days ago and we've obviously already had some of it. I'm gonna pour myself a glass of it right now as a little reward for cleaning up the kitchen and all my meal prep and laundry and all of my inside tasks for today. But yeah, just wanted to show you, this is super refreshing going into spring, and I've got cherry and blueberry and grape hyacinth syrups, just all of the things that you could think of. So good. Especially in the evening, wandering around the garden and just admiring it with a glass of blueberry lemonade. So good.
Then I made my way back out to the garden once the light softened and the air turned golden. It's time to plant the tomatoes. This is the first year I don't feel a total sense of overwhelm with this veggie garden. The intuition of learning this property is starting to kick in.
All right, we've got 3 rows of tomatoes ready to be planted. I lay them out ahead of time. I'm doing things a little bit differently this year, but it's still, for the most part, the same. That top row up there, I've got paste tomatoes, just a few different varieties of those. This middle row is mostly cherry tomatoes with a few heirlooms mixed in because I had extras. And then this bottom row right here is all my heirloom big, like beefsteak style tomatoes. So, ready to get them in the ground. I'm so excited. They're all beautiful. I grew them myself this year. I am quite proud of these, and I have a good feeling about them.
Basil, marigolds, and nasturtiums are getting planted closely for protection and for beauty. They'll make a beautiful addition to the edges of this bed, but they'll also serve so much purpose.
All right, those are all planted, and now it's time for companion plants. So I have a whole tray of nasturtiums. I stole a few for our little raised beds in front of the porch, but most of these are going to go with the tomatoes, and I'm also going to be direct seeding more, hopefully this week. That will pop up over the summer, so it'll be like a whole marigold hedge. And then a few of these will also go in with my pepper plants. I've also got all of these really beautiful little basil plants that are going to get tucked in with the tomatoes. And in the greenhouse, I have nasturtiums to plant alongside both the peppers and tomatoes once I get all of the peppers out there as well. And I have a whole tray of little sunflowers that need to go out there. I'm thinking I'm going to plant some sunflowers on the pea side of the trellises that I just planted the tomatoes at. I've noticed that the leaf-footed bugs, they like to suck the sap out of the tomato plants, and the tomatoes themselves, they'll just be completely on them, but I've noticed if there's nearby sunflowers, those kind of act as a trap crop for the tomatoes, and it gives me better tomatoes and they don't pay attention to them as much. So I'm thinking I can use some sunflowers to be trap crops around my tomato trellises. We'll see if it works. If not, I'll just have some pretty sunflowers.
As expected, I didn't get to everything on that little list I made, so we're going to finish it up the next day. The peas I planted last month didn't take so well. They soaked for far too long while I was down with sickness, and most of them didn't pop up, so I'm trying again.
Okay, so planting the peas might be a little bit different than the tomatoes because I can't just add compost and rake the straw away. I can pull it away, but there are some peas in here that are doing well, and I don't want to accidentally tear those out. So
I think we might still have time before the summer heat really sets in. Sunflowers will go in beside the peas, something to grace the beds if the peas decide not to thrive, and something tall to reach for if they do. There's something beautiful about giving the same patch of soil a second chance. We helped a friend build her greenhouse yesterday. There's something so special about building places for things to grow, whether they're yours or not. And everything's growing right now, even the things I didn't mean to plant. The violets underfoot, the weeds that I missed, and the part of me that's starting to feel steady after all this time.